we're definitely very spoiled in San Francisco. Like, I definitely also worry too. Okay, this is actually one of my biggest worry, like going to DC. Food choices. Food choices, right? Like, you and I both live in some of the greatest, I believe, like some of the like greatest neighborhoods. Like in the Richmond, really, you can, in inner Richmond, you can walk those like 10 blocks from Aguero all the way to like, I don't know, 10, 12th Avenue. You have like so many choices.
That was Connie Chan, former guest of this show, District 1 San Francisco Supervisor, and candidate for U.S. Congress in California Congressional District 11. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a show about the artists, activists, and working people who make this city unlike any other in the world. This bonus episode drops on Tuesday, May 26, 2026, exactly 1 week before we go to the polls to vote in the California primary election. Today is also the day that smart people are advising to mail in your ballots, if that's your plan. As with every election, I cannot understate the importance of what's at stake. Through much deliberation, I've decided that Connie is my choice to represent San Francisco in Congress. I'm also voting yes on Prop D, which asks disproportionately paid CEOs based in the city to pay a little more to help fund city services at jeopardy thanks to the fascist regime in Washington. Services like healthcare, housing, in-home health, and more. It's a no-brainer, really. Okay, on to this episode. Here's my chat with Connie Chan. Marginally busy. I'm going to guess yours is a little more busy than mine. But, like, trying to find time to do the fun stuff can be challenging.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Just like the decompress or the have fun.
Yeah, I know.
Part of it.
Like, but you just make me think about, I forgot my family, what they're doing something tonight. I forgot.
Without you?
Of course. They have to have fun.
They have to, right? They have to carry on.
They were like, so I'm sorry you can't go to movies with us, but we are going to go to movies.
Right, and they should, and whoever bless them. But also, do you have a little bit of FOMO?
Right, I do.
Do you? A little bit, yeah.
With them, totally. I totally did a few weeks ago, but because my son and my partner, they were like they were talking about something. Yeah. It was like model plane and a skateboard.
Yeah.
And I'm just like totally feeling left out. But
well, I described it, see if you relate to this. I described it recently, I think probably to my wife. It's just like, it's not fear of missing out. It's bummed to miss out.
Bummed.
But Bitmo doesn't really have the same ring as FOMO. So
not at all.
I was like, okay, just call it FOMO. Sure. I think it's like, I just have the thing where I want to do all the things.
Yeah.
All the time, including chill, including sleep or watch TV or whatever. But yeah, unfortunately in this life, we can't do all the things. I think.
Sometimes.
So they say.
Sometimes.
So they say.
And you were my like first podcast, by the way.
No way.
Yeah, that was like so fun. It was so cool.
Oh, well, I hope they've all treated you well since then.
There are varies of them.
Yeah.
Variety of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a million podcasts now, right? I think even back in 2022, there weren't as many. It feels like everyone does a podcast, which is okay. But it's like, for me, it's like more competition for ears.
Except, I think that yours is still unique.
Oh, I appreciate
it's like
that.
very San Francisco.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, and it's still very grounded.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll see, maybe when we wrap, I'm hoping my approach to this one will be unique as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about, obviously, your run for Congress, but I want to talk about it on like a personal level.
Yeah.
And like what it means. So let's just get into it. I think let's start with, you went through 2 pretty tough supervisor elections.
That's right.
I remember one of them I followed very closely because you were my supervisor then. And then in 2024, you were no longer my supervisor because I was gerrymandered. But I followed that race because I cared about you and I wanted you to get reelected.
Thank you.
And that was also a pretty tough one.
Yeah.
So given that, I'm like, besides the wanting to do the job, Like, what would make you just be like, let's do something, let's dial it up from these tremendous victories that I just won? Like, you know, besides soul searching, what kind of things, like conversations did you have with your family, your friends, that kind of thing?
I mean, it's so good to be talking with you, Jeff, because like it, for a lot of people we now talk with are so different, and it's citywide, and but also even outside of San Francisco, and like no one really remembered 2020 when we were running for election for the first time. It was in the peak of a pandemic, and then there's a lot of people that didn't even quite realize by the time when we run for re-election in 2024 that their gerrymander is such a good term for that race, because that they really gerrymander the a lot for District 1, for the Richmond, that all the people that we have built relationship with, but we're also really who we've been as a supervisor, meaning like, you know, for the working people, for our small business, for the tenants, they figure out every way possible to try to carve the people that we work so hard to represent, and start putting in people that I still very much welcome into the district, but to sort of some of the really most like wealthiest in San Francisco, those that live in Seacliff or Presidio Terrace. If you know San Francisco, you know exactly who I'm talking about. To put them in there to kind of figure out a way to not only take away the votes that we would normally get, which is some of the very denser areas for working people and tenants, and then to move into a whole bunch of people that have a different perspective about who we are, and just probably less likely in agreement with our working people agenda.
And at the very least, you don't know them yet.
Right. Exactly.
So
exactly. And I thought that was fascinating time. And it did. And both 2020 and I think 2024 was very ugly too, and personal.
Yep.
And most people didn't follow as closely as you did, like didn't quite understand. And it was personal, both not only online, it was personal also in person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was not easy.
Scary, personal? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, you know, I think most people, well, because it wasn't happening to them, so it didn't feel as personal, but but it was like death threats that happened online, and then death threats like that came into my mailbox, you know, wishing that would be happen to me and my family, where I, you know, like now my son is 12, but then was like 10, you know, years old. So those things were personal. Like it was hard, like on that level. And so when you say like, wow, like, so then how did we get through it? Like, you know, my family and everything. And
well, get through it, and then also be like, let's do that again, but on a bigger scale.
Correct. Right. Totally.
Yeah.
I think that we got through it, and then it felt really, in a sense, where they gerrymander us, and yet we won at a bigger margin than we did. Right? Like in 2020. 2020, we were close. We were like 125 votes apart. And then they gerrymander us. They figure we'll be losing this way. And yet we won by more than 1,300 votes.
Yeah. And if I may, also, again, on a personal level, like that night in 2024, well, yeah, the end of the night, because I was awake. And then the next morning, there was, I had the good fortune to be outside of San Francisco for that, kind of like a getaway for mental health. But that next day, there was like, for me, like a palpable sadness and a depression, a pall, if you will, P-A-L-L. But you were one of the bright spots for me, again. But looking up, like, well, everything is burning down and everything's terrible. Let me drill down and look at the elections and look for bright spots. So that was one of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was a fascinating time, and there were subsequently when we finally called, like when they called the race and that we won, like we went to farmers market and we went to places like just the usual stuff, like the neighborhood things that we do, and there were a lot of people came to us and just was like, oh my gosh, it was a terrible election for the nation,
Yeah.
but at least I'm so glad to see you that you're still our supervisor.
Yeah.
And so then there's like still hope. In which then I can tell you, because and to answer that question, why we eventually jump into this race, that for my family specifically on that
Yes.
personal level, actually it was really during that time period
Okay.
that my family walk around with me and they hear it, especially my son. They were like, it was a terrible election for the country, but I'm so glad you're our supervisor and that you know, gave us hope about where at least San Francisco, we're
Right.
all right.
Right.
You know, and I think that for my son and for my partner is that like, we do recognize, like every San Franciscan, we recognize how terrible the country's been. and they
Putting
want,
it mildly.
right? It's like dumpster fire every day.
Yeah, and I have to. I mean, just for listeners, I have to laugh because it's you're pushed to the edge of
Yes.
incredulity. It's like, well, I've stopped. It's like I'm not surprised, which is sad.
Yeah.
Not in a cynical way. It's just like, oh well, of course that's what they're doing.
Yes.
They told us they would do this.
Yes, they did. Correct. Like it's just like of course they're gonna take away our birthright citizenship and naturalized citizenship. Of course they're taking away money for like healthcare. They take away money for food security, for SNAP. They take away money for education and so much, and they even withheld our money for childcare.
Right.
Like all of it. And then what did they use it on? They start a war in Iran. Like, I mean, we knew that. Like, I think that we didn't know in details, but we knew that someone like Trump administration or someone like Trump is going to do terrible things to the country. We all knew that in San Francisco. I feel like we knew that here.
Since 2015, probably. At
So
least.
true.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's been a decade that we knew this.
Correct.
And
There was an escalator then, and then there was an escalator. I liked the escalator last year. Do you remember that?
the escalator. Oh my god, that
Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
It stopped
Yeah, it was
working.
trying. The escalator did its part.
To stop. To stop Trump. Everybody has to do their part.
Yeah.
Which is, speaking of which, I think that's why we jumped in, because we feel like we have to do our part.
Okay. And I would think that the decision to run for the seat in Congress, it's like, well, you can, it's two-part, right? It's like working in the context of the federal government, but for San Francisco, right?
Yes.
So you saw it as kind of a natural thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and so this is why, like, people were asking me questions like, oh, in this race, it's a, congressional race and you're going to Washington, D.C. So what do you think that people are going to be asking you about and care about? And I was like, actually, people ask me very much a very San Francisco question.
Same stuff.
Same stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, where are you with Great Highway? Where are you with upzoning? What about, like, are you going to take care, like, the traffic here? What about transit? Right? Like, what about
Connie, are you going to fix everything, please?
everything now? And
Yeah,
then it's like, but it is true. Once you're running for Congress, there's a layer of like, what are you going to do about, like, the war in Iran? What about Gaza? What about Venezuela? What about China and Taiwan? Like, there's definitely a broader conversations when it comes to us talking to voters. But I think that San Francisco voters also always been so engaged.
Of course, yeah. Agreed, 100%.
So it's not like
It's one of the things I love about here.
Yes.
To be honest, it's like
Yeah.
people are more up on and aware of and willing to act in some way
Yes.
about the things.
Yeah,
Passion. It's passion.
And then that's even outside of like their daily routine or daily life round, right? They were like, we do care about peace around the globe. We want to support people overseas, to have the power of self-determination. So it's been great.
Okay, let's get to the hardball questions. So, have you been to Washington, D.C. in the summer?
Oh my goodness. No, that's a great question. I only been there during winter.
Yeah.
Like, not even winter, but like in May. Like the last time I was there was for the API Heritage Month when our vice president was still Kamala Harris.
Was that already post cherry blossom? I feel like cherry blossom might be like right now, right? Early
like
spring.
March and
Have you ever seen
April.
the cherry blossoms in DC?
Not in DC.
That's something to look forward to when you're living there part time.
Yeah.
Let's say. It gets real swampy in the summer. Just word to the wise.
Yeah. I actually, maybe I have been to DC. It's like probably long ago. But you know what? Like, I also was born in Hong Kong.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And then grew up in Taiwan. So I felt like I can kind of understand the heat. Maybe a little bit.
Is it like a wet heat?
Yeah.
Bugs?
Yeah, bugs.
Yeah, a lot of bugs in DC.
Yeah.
So get the whatever the stuff
literally,
is.
Literally, and all metaphorically too.
No, and when I said swampy, I mean literally. Like that's
Right.
it's a metaphor, but it's it's also, I mean, almost anywhere on Earth has seasons besides San Francisco.
Yeah.
So we know this when we go places.
Yeah. We're definitely very spoiled in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like I definitely also worry too. Okay. This is actually one of my biggest worry.
Okay.
Like going to DC.
Let's get real.
Food choices. Food choices. Right? Like you and I both live in some of the greatest, I believe, like some of the like greatest neighborhoods. Like in the Richmond, really, you can in inner Richmond, you can walk those like 10 blocks from Aguero all the way to like, I don't know, 10, 12th Avenue. You have like so many choices.
As we discussed earlier, we're both Libras. A nightmare for a Libra,
Yes.
but a good one. A good one to have because you can't go wrong.
Right.
I don't know if you watch the show House of Cards on HBO. It doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. But they did kind of. This is before we discovered that Kevin Spacey is a terrible person. But his character he lived in DC and he would like go kind of off the beaten path to Eastern District to a barbecue spot. And so I just want to insert that I lived out there for a hot minute, not in DC, but like in Maryland. And he's right. So Eastern.
There's hope.
Washington. There's hope.
There's hope.
Well, at least for that.
Yeah.
For barbecue. I don't know if you like barbecue, but
I do love barbecue.
there you go.
I do
There you
love
go. Okay, so I do obviously want to talk about your run for Congress in a little bit of detail, but I don't want it to be kind of like stump speechy or what people
I know what you
hear. Yeah. So when I think about this race and everyone in it, and just the nature of what this means for the first woman speaker ever, a very long-term representative from San Francisco to be retiring, and this is the race to succeed her, I would think anyone of you running plans to be there for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Like this is to start the succession.
It's a commitment. Yeah.
The commitment. Yeah. So I'm curious for you, besides sort of what we've already talked about a little bit about the current situation in DC, which is approaching or already at fascism and authoritarianism and all these other terrible things that we need to stop and then undo. Beyond that, what would be important for you, for San Francisco and for the nation?
Yeah.
To start focusing on, let's just say best case scenario, we actually defeat this monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthcare. Definitely healthcare. I mean, I think like, I know it's complicated and it's very difficult, but healthcare is absolutely worth a lifetime of work to really solve a problem, and education. Like those are the two top of my mind, and frankly, like if it weren't because Trump administration is so terrible, and you can kind of see it being ratcheted up, immigration reform, and the reason why I always say healthcare is sometimes when you like, is this worth it? Is this worth your life? Is it worth your life? I mean, I hope I don't die in office, and being able to retire with dignity and with like a body of work that I could look to, and then that I can pass it on. Similarly, I think that's why I don't want to speak for her, but I think for Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi decided to like retire. Like, I saw her, just a couple weeks ago. Man, the woman is sharp. Like,
Yeah.
I think that honestly, if she would run for another term, she would have been fine. I think San Franciscans would be like, you represent us South well, like, go for it.
She certainly would have won.
Yes.
There's no doubt that she would have won.
Exactly. And Trump will be scared of her, right? Like, we will be like, yes, go fight Trump for us because you can. You show us that you could. But I think that, like, she has done a lot already, like around Affordable Health Care Act. But I know, though, like, and I think many people still know, too, it's like, it's not enough.
There's a lot more that needs to be done.
Yeah.
A lot of holes
Yeah.
in that well-intentioned
Yeah.
and semi-miraculous thing that happened now more than 10 years ago. Yes, thank you for talking about this. I'll just say for the record, like, I've had a full-time job for many, many years now, and so I'm very privileged to have employer-sponsored health care. However, 2025 going into 2026, my employer switched our provider, and it's been a little bit of a nightmare that I don't feel exactly right complaining about, but I want to bring it to light because I'm like, I'm doing all the things that, they, air quotes, they say I'm supposed to do. And then on the flip side of that, my wife, who has a full-time job, but she's a bartender, so it's like a, 30 hours. She doesn't get employer health care. And so because of our situation, being married, she is more or less forced out of, Kevard, California.
Yeah.
So that's just one example of the many that's like, that was a good start. Let's keep going.
Correct.
Is my opinion.
Insane. Yeah. I feel the same way. I think the cost of medication is way too high. We should be able to stabilize that. People shouldn't be surprised that, last month was, $10 with subsidies. And then this month it's no longer covered. So I have to pay $300 for the very same medication that you need. Nobody's taking medication for funsies.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
well, some might, but that's not the point. That's not the point.
Okay, that's true, Jeff. Like, that's not a good example. But
But the point is that people need this for their. Right. It's not even their livelihood. It's basic.
Yes.
I think what we're talking about, that I'm sure we agree on, is that healthcare is a right.
Yes, and
it shouldn't be a privilege.
Yeah, and so, and not just the medication, but it's heartbreaking. We also have met some firefighters who actually have health care provided by the city, but they're being denied of cancer treatments, for example. It's outrageous.
And that's not like a bump on the head.
No.
Or a scrape or a bruise that, or whatever. It's like, that's as serious as it gets. Yeah. Really.
And I think that.
And these are people who serve the community.
Yes. And think that we have done a lot already, like, and I shouldn't say we, but like, I think that under President Obama and Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, like, do you remember this one big thing was pre-existing condition, right? And when they said, no, like, it doesn't matter if you have pre-existing condition, you should still be insured. And that's actually huge.
That was a huge thing.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that we're now in a space where, okay, somehow the insurance company and pharmaceutical companies found whatever loopholes within the framework that they set up 10, 20 years ago. And then now they are like, okay, well, we're going to go do something different now, like to generate profits. And I think that we are all coming to a space that after, Affordable Health Care Act has been established, we are now saying, that was not enough.
Right.
Medicare, we're ready. We're now ready for Medicare for all. We understand that there got to be a public option. And no matter how we frame it and slice it and dice it, that we got to break the monopoly around insurance.
Yes.
And we got to break the monopoly around pharmaceutical. I wouldn't call it monopoly, but I think it's balancing between public investments of medication research and be able to take away that that sort of profit driven goal and core mission for some of these scientists who are actually interested in medication and
That's their
advancing
life
it.
work.
Yeah.
And what they
And yet there is a whole business aspect that drives that profits. And so they're not in a position to be able to say, well, let's negotiate, let's invest, because these are public dollar investments of research. So those are things we all want to do.
But this is rhetorical, but like, isn't everyone's health in the public interest? You would think.
Yeah.
I think it's a question of power also. It's like, how much do these corporations that are insurance companies, like how much power do they have? It's outsized.
Yeah.
And just kind of like metaphorically, it's like when you're talking about since the passage of Affordable Care Act, I picture, they're like twisting their little mustache and tapping their fingers. It's like, no, that's where the gaps are. That's what needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
So, okay, the other one you said was
Education.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think that we can kind of see, and really especially right now, that this whole conversation around AI and how it's not safe and how it takes jobs away, but not besides the artificial intelligence, but then there's also the conversation about homelessness, there's conversation about poverty level and better wages. And for me, and even just environmental issue, and I'm going to link it all back together, is that I really see education investments is an investment for the future. And be it around affordable childcare so that families can make their lives more affordable, and they have more options. And then when you have fully funded K-12 classrooms, then you really have really be able to not only help people academically, but to think about before and after school hours. Like, it's what I actually meant also. It's like by fully funded K-12, you then, like, I think young people are going to be less likely tangled up in a system. And you really help them establish to have social worker, nurses on site, and fully funded our education system, that our students are more well-rounded.
Yeah.
And so then I also see that as a way to catch them before the system catch them, than the falling into poverty or homelessness. And I also see that higher education, like Free City College that we have in San Francisco.
Yes, we do.
Right? Where if you're a high school grad, you don't know what to do with life, you can go to Free City and then to figure it out and explore. But if you're someone that, I've been an office worker for a long time. I just want to do something different. You can be a chef. You can be a nurse. You can actually take those classes at your own pace and for free at Free City. And I think that gives people more options in workforce and career, and it solves a lot of problem. And another thing is why I say environmental issue. It's because if you think about it, workforce, like just transition, and why it should be not just in San Francisco model, it should be across the nation, is then people who feel like they've been trapped in jobs like coal mining or fossil fuel jobs for generations. If they have an opportunity for Free City College, they can actually figure out different kind of jobs that have a just transition for the workforce.
Yeah, I always think of those things in terms of individuals determining a usefulness to themselves, to their families, to their communities, to their cities, states, whatever. And a lot of times those options aren't there.
Yeah.
To be fair. And I feel like it is the responsibility of society to provide those things. So thank you. Okay, so one more hardball. You ready? This is a really tough one. What are some of your favorite things to do in San Francisco to unwind? We talked about this a little bit off mic, but like, let's just say you had 3 different days or evenings to be like, Connie, it's wherever you want to go to eat and whatever else you want to do.
Oh my God. It
doesn't have to be 3. That's a lot. But
that is a lot.
But the point is, like, you don't have to choose one.
Yeah. First of all, I am a homebody. Like the reality is I am, and I would love to like, stay home and like cook and watch movies with my family and or like have movie nights at home. So that would probably be something that I
That's one of them.
love.
Okay.
But oh my God, like I would love, like there's certainly a lot of things that I would love to do. I would absolutely love like Japantown with my son because he loves it too. Like be it Pokemon, be it just many fun things.
Like a day in Japantown.
Yeah, like a fun day in Japantown, and especially cherry blossom is coming up. Like it'll be so fun. Of course, like also Chinatown, but like Chinatown for me is just like hanging out. Like there's no doubt about that. And then like with my partner, like if I'm going on date, like it's like Castro is actually a lot of fun places to hang out, and just random like shows, like be it but it has to be like small concerts, like
Sure.
and catch it like random band, not like big band.
Yeah.
Like
What are some of your favorite venues for that?
I want to say anywhere in downtown, but also like in the Richmond, like neck in the woods. It's actually it's kind of like fun. One thing that I've really been wanting to do since 2025, but I really haven't had a chance, is that 4-Star Theater.
Yeah.
They've been doing those like indie comedy show on Sunday, and I really want to go to one of those, and I just haven't had a chance to. I don't know if you know about San Francisco neo-futurist.
No.
They're improv artists. I also want to go to their shows. Like there's a lot
So much going on.
so fun, like in like just small like small shows that I just think it's like great.
Yeah. You brought up the 4-Star. So my wife and I on Christmas Day, however many months ago, we got to go there and see Die Hard, which is a Christmas movie.
Oh my God, love it.
It was just one of those like super low key, fun, turn your brain off.
Yes.
Yeah. I love the 4-Star.
Oh, and then another one, it's like, I think they're bringing it back at Castro Theater, is the Sing Along.
Yes.
Before,
my favorite.
Yeah, before kids, that Ed and I, my partner, and I, we would go to Castro and for sing along, it's The Sound of Music or Grease, and they would give you, it was so fun, they would sometimes give you like bubble,
Yes,
right,
yes.
and then the whistle that you get to like blow the bubble for this words, and it was I miss those. So those are things I would totally do.
I did Wizard of Oz a million years ago.
Oh my God.
And my brother was visiting from Texas, and I got to bring him along, and he was just like, "This is so fun."
Yes.
Like they don't have that where he's from.
Yeah, so I think those are very San Francisco thing to do, and I love them all.
Heck yeah. Okay, well, anything else before we wrap it up?
Thank you. It's so funny because I went back a little bit. I didn't get a chance to listen to our first one.
Okay.
Like our podcast.
Me neither. I read the show notes.
Me too.
I was reminded of some stuff.
I was reading it, and I realized that this was the first one, or like your podcast was the first one that I sort of like got a chance to kind of like tell my personal stories.
Oh, okay.
Because you're like on campaign trail, you only have 1 minute. They're like they always tell you like, okay, what is your elevator pitch?
Right.
Right. Like you're forced to just be like, tell me all about yourselves like in like 1 minute. I'm like, actually, there's so much more about me. And then I went back and I was like, that was so fun. Like having a chance to sort of be able to, I think everybody should do it. I think, well, actually, everybody who...
I'm working on it.
I know, right? Actually, I think that people should give sometimes, not all of them, but some politicians, right, who are running for office, or some candidates who are running for office, I think they should always do a podcast like this. Why? Because I think instead of this well-packaged elevator pitch that all voters actually get, and sort of just like really well-rounded talking points, or well-thought-out talking points, I should say,
sure.
By a lot of people's, and like, but now you actually get them sort of, hopefully, candid.
A little more human.
More human.
That's what I'm going for.
And also like tell their personal life story so that people can say, oh, based on your learned experience, well, hopefully they don't lie about their personal stories.
Well,
You know.
yeah.
But then you kind of be like, oh, that's one more thing I like to know about this person, and maybe it will be relevant when the time comes, especially when stress, right? That you can trust how they will make those decisions.
Right.
So,
Okay, so the thing I actually want to end on. There was a day I think it was still 2025. I was driving west on Geary, and I got to the stoplight at, I believe it was Divisadero. No one out there quote me. I mean, I'm talking to you, surveillance cameras. I think it was Divisadero and Geary. I'm headed west at a red light. And I just casually, it was a beautiful sunny day. I just casually looked over to my left, and the driver in the car to my left, I noticed had stopped as well at the stoplight and was starting to eat a sandwich. And I looked a little, I was like, oh, that's interesting. At least they're not looking at their phone. But then I was a little closer, and I was like, oh my God, it's Connie Chan. And so because it was a beautiful day, I think I already had my window down, and I was just like, well, I'm not going to honk or do anything weird, but I was like, I'm just going to keep looking. And it was in fact you. And you looked over and you recognized me, and you rolled down your passenger side window. So you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I was like, I think Jeff saw me, and I was like, I hope I don't have any lettuce in my tea. And like, I was like, and I must look like a crazy person because I was starving.
Yeah.
I was starving, and I was like between like events, and I was starving. I was between work events.
Yeah.
And I have no time for lunch. That was my only chance.
I was going to say, I mean, it's just like, I'm going to say it's like a Tuesday. You're not campaigning for anything, but you had the perfect answer. You were like, tell everyone she's so busy that she's literally eating in the car whenever she can get a meal in. And I was like, oh, I love that. You didn't even think about it. That's just what you said.
Yeah.
And it was perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad.
Sure.
A little bit.
Sure.
But I also was like, that's like my life is so full that I, like, in a great way, that I didn't even have time for lunch. But it was a great sandwich. By the way, actually, it was a great sandwich. It came from Najia Market in Japantown.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome sandwich. So there you have it. Like, at least the sandwich was great. Maybe not I don't get to eat at a fancy restaurant, but it was awesome sandwich.
That was Connie Chan. We recorded this podcast at Connie Chan for Congress headquarters on Cathedral Hill. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, meet and get to know Abigail Munn, the founder of Circus Bella. Abigail's bonus episode drops this Friday, wherever you get podcasts. And the following week, we'll see our next regular feature episode, when you'll meet San Francisco born and raised artist and union worker, Painter George. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 8th season, we have more than 300 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Find us on Substack for our monthly newsletter and more. And follow us on Instagram and Threads @StoriedSF. Reach us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Try to stay hopeful in these dark times. Keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.